So, can you believe that 5,000 people actually want to hear me talk over video games?
Huh?
5,000 people. That's why we're sitting down here to do this whole shenanery. I have 5,000 people that are subscribed to my channel. Isn't that amazing?
I guess.
Well, I am here with MsShwantz. She doesn't like to be called Mrs. And be easy on her. This is her first time doing a commentary, and
Last.
and possibly last. Possibly last. She says it's last, but I bet I could drag her ass down here for maybe one or two more.
I think so.
She doesn't really like the way that her voice sounds, and I don't think most people do. Most people have a different perception of the way they sound internally as opposed to when they hear it back. So I'm guessing you don't like to be on video camera very much either then.
Well, you know that.
Well, I know that. Whatever. All right, so let's get down to the questions here. The first one is from Shotty Boss. God damn.
Why do you do stupid voices?
Because that's how he sounds. This guy is a commentator, and he's got a really deep voice. Like, puberty hit him like a brick shithouse. That's why I said, God damn, because that's the way he talks.
It's really obnoxious.
I know it is. So he asks, how did you guys meet? Well, I already told my side of this story in a previous video. I'll link it down in the description. This way you can go check it out and all of the other questions I've been asked. But why don't you tell your version of this story?
Well, we were at a party, and you stole my camera out of my bag.
I borrowed it.
No, you stole it out of my bag, my brand new camera.
So did you literally just got this camera?
Yeah, it was like a few weeks old. I got it right before I came to school, so it was a party like a couple weeks into school.
I think it was close to winter break.
No, it wasn't that close.
It wasn't that close to,
No,
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I actually bet I have it here on Facebook. But anyway. So all of a sudden I look up. You're taking a picture with my camera, and then you drop it. Which, you're such an asshole.
So what happened after I dropped your camera?
I yelled at you. I yelled at you.
So we had just barely like, hi, I'm Megan, hi, I'm Brian,
No,
kind of
we
thing.
never even said that.
No.
I had no idea who the fuck you were.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I had no idea. I didn't care who you were. You freaking have my camera. You stole it.
I borrowed it.
No, you stole
I had
it.
every intention of giving it back to you after I snapped a few racy photos in the bathroom.
Yeah. Have those.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Shit, I should never break up with you then. You're gonna put it all over the internet.
I'll blackmail you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just funny now because like all the people you took a picture of are now our friends, and I had no clue who they were. And I was like, "Who's this random fucking asshole?" And now we're friends.
How did you know that they were an asshole just by looking at the picture?
Well, because you fucking stole my camera, so they were obviously associated with you being an asshole. So yeah.
Well, am I still an asshole now?
No.
All right. Next question. FIFA 11 skills fan. What did MsShwantz study in college, and what college did you two go to? I know how you met, because he actually listens to my previous videos, ass clown, but not the school. So why don't you take this one here?
Well, we both went to Marist, so...
In Poughkeepsie?
In Poughkeepsie. And I studied fashion design.
So in other words, you just sewed and ironed.
No. Well, for the fashion part, yeah, but Marist wasn't like fashion, well, because it was a liberal arts school, so it wasn't like fashion school, like where all you take is fashion classes. They still had to do all the core stuff that you had to do for Marist, so take like all the science and math and stuff. But the fashion course was pretty demanding.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
You had to make shit?
I had to make a lot of shit.
Well, you also had to do your own fashion line for your final project, right? The runway show?
Oh, I only did 2 garments. Well, I just technically did 3 garments.
Well, that's still, I can't make a fucking shirt. I know that
Yeah.
there are
Well,
children
then
in Bangladesh that can do it, but not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question is from What's Up World. For Mrs. Schwantz, how do you feel about the Schwantz's YouTube career?
Well, it's not really a career. He doesn't make any money off of it. So that's how I feel about it. It's a hobby.
So you want me to make some money off of it so that we could have we can go out to eat every once in a while.
Well, we already go out to eat once in a while, but maybe pay for our next trip to Africa. It'd be awesome.
I think I'm gonna have to pump out a few more videos then in order to do that.
Yeah.
Next question, Josh Moon. How do you deal with the COD rage?
What's a cod?
Call of Duty.
No, I didn't mean that, but it just sounds so asinine.
Fine. How do you deal with this broiled fish from the sea? It's
Yeah.
usually for fish and chips.
Yeah. I don't. If you ever notice, Brian stops playing sometimes because I'm coming down and yelling at him or turning it off.
I think I uploaded a video one time where I'm yelling constantly at the game, and then all of a sudden it's just black screen. So yeah, if my live stream shut off suddenly, that's that's what you know what happened.
Yeah. I don't like it.
You don't like the rage.
No.
It's not flattering.
No, it's not flattering at all, and it's really annoying. And we fucking have neighbors, and they're annoyed by it too.
And one of the reasons why we bought this house is we moved out of our 400, 500 square foot Manhattan apartment where I'd yell at the TV and you'd be right next to me.
Yeah, that
And
wasn't
now
fun.
and now you're up in the third. I'm on the first floor in the man cave, which I did a man cave tour back when I had 2,000 subscribers, so you could go check that video out.
No, thank you.
But you're up on the third floor in the craft cave, and you still hear me yelling
Well, that
two
was,
floors away.
But that was the idea. The reason why I love this house so much, I had dreams of not being able to hear you. And it just seems like you've gotten louder. And
Is it because maybe I know that, hey, back when we were living in a tight space, I can't yell too loud or else she'll get mad?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not like you didn't yell, because I remember, we had the mailboxes were past our apartment, and I would go to the mailboxes, and there were a couple of times, like, I'd be walking past the door, and you'd be yelling, and you'd literally make me jump, because I'd be so scared. It really wasn't flattering.
All right. Well, I'll try and calm it down a little bit. Knott's Predator asks, what are your thoughts of Sir Rage-A-Lot, Yo Husband, which we just went over. And when you having a baby?
No babies.
No babies?
No babies. Well, you know this.
Well, I know this, but this is why we're doing this, so that other people would know this.
No babies.
Why not? Why not?
I don't know.
You're not into the whole,
I hate children, and actually, that's not true. I don't hate
I hate children. I hate children.
I just...
After working in a supermarket
No.
and dealing with all of the annoying fucking brats in the carts, like grabbing shit, and their mom's going, no, you can't do this, and all that puts me off to it. And I also never grew up with a lot of kids. I know you did. You grew up with a lot of kids.
Yeah. Well,
So
not
you're
with a
more
lot of
you're more tolerant than I am, though.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. They're so disruptive, and I know that there are parents that are awesome parents, and they don't like it. Babies get in the way. I don't know. There's just so many more things I want to do rather than freaking take care of a kid.
Go back to Africa, right?
Go back to Africa. I can't go to Africa if we have a kid.
So we do have a pet cat, though, and that satisfies that, I guess, nurturing side of you a little bit.
Yeah.
Cats don't make too much of a mess, or at least this one hasn't.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is that, if I'm so overprotective, like, I am of our cat, like, how am I going to be with a real child? It's pretty scary.
Oh my god, our cat's eye isn't opening all the way. She just woke up. Give her a second.
Yeah.
All right, Martin Breitenbacher. Is that good enough pronunciation? Breitenbacher?
It's right. I mean, the I is second, so you would pronounce it because I is the second letter.
I don't know. It looks. I didn't take.
German?
I don't. Yeah, it looks like a German name, and Mrs. Schwantz or Ms. Schwantz rather took German, so she'd probably know better than me.
I am
I
pretty
do
German.
I do Spanish, not German.
Yeah.
Asks,
That's one of the things I remember actually is that the second letter is how you pronounce it.
All right. So it's Breitenbacher?
I believe so.
All right. Does your wife play Xbox or Call of Duty?
Absolutely not.
But you do play other games. You have played other games in the past.
Yeah, but I don't.
You're not a gaming person,
No,
though.
not really. No, not particularly. I don't know.
We made a list.
We did, but that was like okay. So the last time I played Pikmin was like I don't know.
I remember you
Like,
playing it on the
okay,
GameCube or
on
the Wii rather.
The Wii, yeah, when we lived in the cities. That's 2 years ago. And like Zelda Perfect Dark and Halo was a really long time ago too.
That was before we met.
Yeah, that was way before we met.
Fair enough. Carl Van Duzel asks a lot of questions, but I think there's one in here that hasn't been asked. So it's how does MsShwantz put up with your raging? We already answered that. She doesn't. Are there going to be any mini Shwantzes soon? No. And the one question he has in here is, do you ever game together? Yeah, we've played Mario Kart on the Wii. We've streamed it together once or twice.
Yeah,
Once. Is
And
it
I
something
sucked.
you're interested in doing again, perhaps?
It was fun, a little bit, but it was terrible. I don't know.
Well, you get bored pretty easily.
Yeah, it's not my idea of a good time.
Like, I can sit and play games for a few hours. You're done after maybe 45 minutes at the max.
Yeah. I just don't have the attention span for it. There's better things to be doing.
Sewing projects.
Sewing projects, yes.
See, that stuff like amazes me, because I made like a patchwork pillow in home ec like back in 8th grade, and that's the extent of my sewing.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be making Christmas presents with me, right?
That sounds great. I'd much rather make a Christmas present than buy it. One, it's cheaper, and two, it's kind of more personal. It's
I
good.
don't think in this case it's going to be cheaper, but that's okay.
Yeah. And then, where does your surname come from? Mine, I think, is like German, Dutchish. I don't really know.
Oh, but then I was watching a Safari thing, and there was almost your last name.
So
you're
maybe I'm
from
South Africa.
Maybe you can claim citizenship, and we can move there.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
And yours is Irish?
It is Irish. It's like very Irish. Very, very Irish.
See, at least you know. I don't really know.
But it's really weird because I'm not mostly Irish. I'm
Right.
Not of Irish. I mean, I am.
Well, your
Irish,
dad's
just a
side of
little
the
bit.
family is Irish, and your mom's is very German.
But my dad's only half Irish, so I am mostly German.
Gotcha.
I am mostly a kraut.
They call me apes, so this is a two-part question. The first one is to you. To Ms. Schwantz, do you ever feel like grabbing Brian's Xbox and throwing it out the window?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
And
It's gonna happen.
And then to me, what would you do if Ms. Schwantz threw my Xbox out the window? I'd probably just tell her, hey, you should probably go buy a new window. It's getting
Yeah.
very cold in here.
But, yeah. Well, you can buy a new window.
Well, that's true. I mean, your money is my money, and my
Yeah.
money is your money. It's
We're-
kind of all the same
we're-
pool of funding.
We're commingled now.
Once you go into a pool, it's just like peeing in a pool. It doesn't matter if it's on
Ew.
one side or the other. It's
No,
kind of just in there.
Ew, that's a terrible analogy.
It's
Ew.
not.
It's so gross. Ah, Brian. Ah.
Zoltan25.
Oh my God, that's from Dude, Where's My Car?
Is it?
Sultan, yeah. Did you remember when we were out for my birthday and we saw the guy in the bubble wrap suit? Those were all like Zoltan people.
Yeah?
The guy in the bubble wrap suit, yeah.
Well, I'm not a big fan of that movie. I know
love that
you love
movie.
that movie. It's a stupid fucking movie. Anyway, moving on.
Please, fucking like your taste in movies is spectacular.
Oh yeah, my taste in movies is terrible.
Terrible.
When you and the Schwantz fight, does he yell in the same voice that he does in his videos?
No, he doesn't yell ever at me, ever, which is why I think him playing video games and yelling annoys me so much, because he wasn't like this when we first started dating. He never yells. Like, I think you've only yelled at me like 3 times.
Yeah, it's very rare. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm like behind the internet. I could just yell and like have no repercussions of it, I guess. Whereas if I yell at you, I could see you be like, break down and start crying and be like, "Fuck, what did I just do?"
Okay, if you yelled at me, I'd probably yell at you back.
That's true.
Break down and cry. I'm not that type of girl. But I don't think it's that you're behind the internet and that there's no repercussions. I think that you've found
I'm a very
niche,
competitive
and
player.
yeah, you're very competitive in your video games, and like your friends or always had sympathy with me because you've always been like this. It's
That's
like,
true.
So I think you've found a way to do something with it, I guess, more publicly.
I've spiked a few Nintendo 64 controllers in my day.
Yeah. Like, you need to fucking get over that. It is what it is. Fucking people are gonna cheat. Get over it. Like, stop being such a, like, dick about it.
I like being a dick about it.
God.
Alright, Golden Sin asks, question for MsShwantz. When you hear Mr. Shwantz raging and going off at the top of his lungs from another room, do you assume he's doing a commentary or destroying the toilet in the bathroom?
He doesn't yell any poops. So it's definitely...
I'm not allowed shitter.
It's definitely commentary.
Can you
all
the
the time.
difference between commentary and playing?
Yeah.
It's because it's constant talking.
When you do YouTube commentary, it's like constant talking. And then you say different things, and since you yell loud enough for me to hear you on any floor of our house, I always can hear what you're saying, so I know what you're doing.
So you know all of my funny phrases that I like to use?
Well, yeah, I knew those like years ago because you keep repeating them over and over and over again. It's
Yeah, I'm pretty quick in the bathroom. I like to call myself.
I don't want to talk about pooping on the video. Could you just stop?
You don't have to talk about it. I'll talk about it.
Talk about it.
Oh, come on.
It makes
This
me
would
really
be funny.
uncomfortable.
It would be really funny.
It makes me really uncomfortable that you're talking about it publicly.
No, I'm like a power shitter. Like
I
I'm
don't
done
wanna
in
hear
like a
about
couple
it.
of minutes.
Ah,
All right, fine.
Not for public.
Fine, I'll cut that part out.
You don't have to cut it out. I think it's funny that we're fighting about it.
All right, so Will Can't Quickscope asks, does Schwantz satisfy the missus in the bedroom?
That is way too personal to answer on a YouTube commentary.
Well, I mean, I think if the answer was no, then you wouldn't be here. You
Yeah.
don't usually stay with somebody if they're not good at something. Like if I ever hooked up with somebody and they weren't good, then that's the last time I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But I think most girls always give the same answer. It's kind of, yeah, you're good. You're not too, not too big, not too small, just in the middle. And it's kind of like somebody's lying. You can't have all of these average persons hanging around. Somebody's got to be good and somebody's got to be bad.
Well, I'm not answering that.
All right. Next question is Nerpin. Do you two have similar taste in music?
Do you want to answer it?
Not really. I mean, I'm more into like rap and metal and sometimes house music, but we don't really have. You're very much into like punk and ska.
Yeah.
But you have you like classic rock. I think that's what we have in common, classic rock. Although you're much more of a Deadhead, and I don't really. They're not my thing.
Well, I'm not like a Deadhead. It's different when you.
Well, your parents were.
Well, my dad was, not my mom. But I think it's different that it just kind of like reminds me of home.
Certain times, yeah.
No, it's just like home. Like it's like comfortable. I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, music always brings me back to certain times and certain events. It's like, oh, I remember when this song came out. It was blah, blah, blah. And this CD was on during this party when I met this person and stuff like that.
I have that too. But I wouldn't say that like I'm like that's not how the dead is for me. I would say. you know.
See, but here's the thing. I know that one band that we do have in common is Coheed and Cambria, and I didn't really think much of them before I met you, and then you introduced me to more of their songs, because I knew, like, their hit songs, obviously, because I'm very into music. I was a DJ at the Marist radio station, so I had thousands and thousands of CDs in the back that I just literally would take them home, rip them on my computer, and listen to them at a later time. That's why I have so many songs. So I heard some of their other stuff, but then you introduced me to them, and then one year for your birthday, they were doing, well, it just so happened to be around your birthday.
Yeah.
They were doing a series of 4 shows where they would play every song on their 4 albums that they had released at the time on back-to-back-to-back-to-back nights, and I think that was pretty cool experience that we got to share together.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
So like for concerts, like for example for a wedding anniversary present that happened recently, I got you tickets to Real Big Fish,
Yeah.
which not my kind of thing, but you know what? I'll go with you because I know that you like them, and hey, it's music. It'll be a good time. Just like you've gone to metal shows that I've wanted to see, and you're like, this is fucking miserable.
Iron Maiden. Although I like Iron Maiden, but it was a really long show.
Yeah. Next question. Favorite sandwich from Carlos Valadosta. For me, there was this sandwich that was at this deli that I used to go to for lunch every once in a while, and it had like a real Italian deli name. It was like Cucina Italiana Deli or whatever.
That was the Fox News Deli, right?
And yeah, that was the Fox News Deli.
I won't support them.
So we nicknamed it the Fat Deli because they would bring you sandwiches that were fucking gigantic, and they had this sandwich. It was the number 3. It was turkey, roast beef, ham, American cheese, no, not American, provolone cheese, no, American cheese, whatever, it doesn't matter, American cheese I think is what it was.
It was cheese.
Russian dressing, coleslaw, and then what they did was, those gigantic pickles they have in the jar, they would put them through the deli slicer and put them on the sandwich. It was fucking awesome. But you're not much of a sandwich person, though.
I don't like sandwiches. I only like grilled cheese sandwiches.
Or turkey with nothing on it, right?
Or turkey with nothing on it, yep.
And the last question here, and I think I saved the best one for last. It's from OGCP de Silva. What is one quality or trait you enjoy the most about each other? So why don't you take this one first?
Well, that's really easy. Brian is a really outgoing person, and he's always the life of the party, and, he always makes everyone comfortable around him, and, just is an all-around awesome guy, and it's really refreshing to be with someone like that, you could just kind of, like, not leave on your own, but I don't have to worry about, like, constantly entertaining you or having you by my side if we're out doing something. Like, you're outgoing, so you're able to, be on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, well, we're both very independent people,
yeah.
So, I mean, but it does help that I know how to boogie down.
Yeah, and you're personable. Like, sometimes I don't know what to say to people, and you most of the time, although sometimes you do say really inappropriate, stupid things.
I cross the line every once in a while.
But, like, you're easygoing, and, you can make a conversation, and I really admire that about you.
Well, so for me, I think that you are extremely thoughtful. You're always thinking about your family or your friends. Whenever, you see something, you go, oh, this reminds me of such and such a person, or, here's something that we have to do for this person because, it's this special occasion. And I'm just like, okay, I'll go with the flow and, go with it, right? I know a lot of our friends are having kids now, so you've been making them kind of blankets for them. And I like, me personally, I would just be like, fuck it, let's just get something off the registry. But this kind of thing, is much more personal. Same thing with the pajamas. They're much, it's much cooler to make stuff and to be thinking about, like, all these creative ideas for people. And sometimes that's why I struggle with getting you presents, right? Because you're always very creative and giving me good gifts like that. I would be like, fuck, how does she think of this shit? But you do it.
Just my gift.
Because that's what you do.
Oh my god, did you really just do that?
Yeah, that just happened.
Oh, God.
Anyways, that is all of the questions. I guess if you enjoyed this kind of dual commentary, let me know, and I will force her to do another one of these soon.
No, it has to be for, like, milestone things.
Milestone things?
That way people, get up and promote your shit.
Yeah, but what if people don't like this? Then they don't want me to reach that milestone.
Well, then that is better for me, too. So, I win either way, I guess.
Alright, guys. Well, let me know what you thought in the comments section. I have been the Shwantzes27, and we are out like 3 strikes at a baseball game.
What? You're like fucking ridiculous.
Do you have a better outro?
No.
Exactly.
God.
Until next time.